Previously on Prince George's County Fire and EMS, we rode to a structure fire with Safety Officer Hurt, learned more about training at the tower with Captain Jesse Constantino, took a tour of Prince George's County Battalion with Battalion Chief Donnie Fletcher, and were on scene at a structure fire in which 2 lives were saved. In this webisode, we stopped in at the Capitol Heights Fire Station to meet with Lieutenant Kathleen Murcell to learn more about how Prince George's County Fire Department has been able to raise breast cancer awareness.
Kathleen Murcell, Acting Lieutenant with Prince George's County Fire Department. I work with the Special Events Unit. I became a firefighter because I got into a little trouble in high school and had to do some community service, so I joined the local volunteer rescue squad back home. And I really enjoyed the camaraderie, the family-like atmosphere, and helping people. Before I got cancer, I was stationed at Silver Hill, Station 29, on the medic unit. I've been there approximately about 8 years. I was just taking a shower and I found a lump, so I called my doctor and went in, saw her, and then I sent for a mammogram, and then they found a lump, and then they came back bad results, and then I went for ultrasound right away. And then the radiologist came in and said that I needed to go for a biopsy immediately, and that things weren't looking good. I didn't take very much time off to work. I continued to work. I would just take about 3 to 5 days off after a treatment. And then when I had my surgery, I took 2 months off to recover. And every other time I was at work. Couldn't sit around, needed to be up and doing something. My department, Prince George's County Fire and EMS Department, has done a lot for breast cancer awareness. We have 2 fire trucks and a medic unit that's pink. They do all kinds of public events and stuff. When I made the announcement that I had cancer to the department, the outpour of support was just incredible. Just phone calls, texts, Facebook messages, people bringing food, making food for myself and my husband, offering rides. When the doctor told me I was cancer-free, I was very ecstatic. No better news in the world. When I got the clearance to come back to work, it was a relief. I can't just sit at home and do nothing, so work gives me purpose. Early detection is important because from the time that I found my lump to the time that I actually got treatment for it that started, it had actually doubled in size. So if I had found it any later, it could have a totally different outcome. My message to people for early detection would be trust your bodies, trust yourself. You know yourself. If something doesn't feel right, get it checked out.
Stop hurting your back. Designed to prevent first responder back injuries and extend careers, the walkboard is the newest innovation in patient extrication. It's a dolly designed specifically for transporting people that must remain supine, lying face up. It allows first responders to roll their patients to safety instead of carrying them. Use the walkboard instead of a rib stretcher, scoop stretcher, or other device that requires carrying. Find out more about the walkboard at www.walkboard.com. It's 9:40 in the a.m. and we're back at Station 816.
Battalion Chief Mike Leninsky. I'm the leader or one of the members of the Prince George's County Pipes and Drums Band, and I'm coming out here to practice for a little while because I'm not very good yet.
In the safety officer's quarters, Jim Geron catches up on emails between calls.
My name is Jim Geron. I'm the Operational Safety Officer for Prince George's County Fire EMS Department. So this would be my 20 years for working and serving the citizens of Prince George's County. And I was selected as one of the first safety officers approximately 3 years ago.
Late afternoon, a call comes in. It's a structure fire on the other side of the county. We ride with Safety Officer Geron.
I'm one of those guys that didn't grow up with a legacy of having fathers and brothers in the fire service. I actually wanted to be a doctor first. So in a pre-med meeting in college, one of the instructors there said, you need some volunteer time. So I knew that I had a friend in high school that her father was on the board of directors at the Beltsville Volunteer Fire Department. So I got an application and showed up, and thankfully I had some really good mentors there, and that's where I started my career. You know, once I got on that unit and was able to actually start helping people without going through years and years of medical school, you know, right out of college and high school, I just really developed a passion for that, and really enjoyed riding around the ambulance. And then I started, there was an actual call at my station where one of the career firefighters were understaffed. And I was actually in the station, but I didn't have any firefighting or EMS training. And during that call, we actually lost a little girl in a house fire. The two firefighters made valiant attempts, or multiple firefighters made valiant attempts to rescue this little girl. And when I woke out of the bunk room, I kind of said to myself, I said, you know, if I'm going to be here, if I'm going to be on this ambulance, I got to be on everything that goes out that door. I got to make a difference on whatever goes first out that door, whether it's the engine or the ambulance. I just need to be trained to be able to do everything.
While en route to the remote area of Occoquan, Safety Officer Geron quickly briefs us on the current conditions at the fire grounds.
It's a non-hydrated area, so they are trying to set up the water supply with multiple tankers on a tactical channel.
Be advised, you have power lines down, 5 Bravo. Truck 832, pick up the gas control. Command rescue engine 844. Command units, command communication. Command guys, let's go ahead and give the rundown of the units. So we're going to give that rescue engine 840 respond right before that. I'm going to get in touch with that. Yeah, I'm on Cactus Hill down by Old Marshall Hall Road, standing by. I was running extra with the tanker. Not with the tanker right now. Do you have any instructions? So we stand by.
After a 40-minute drive, we arrive on scene in the remote area of Occoquan. Fire departments across the nation are really checking out the new Vulcan structure boots from Cosmos USA.
Feel comfortable.
Yeah, man, I like that room at the top.
Yeah, I do. Super light.
I can feel that arch support.
I do like the straps. I like them. I can get my hands on them.
These are like part of the boot, stitched really far down into it.
They feel good even all the way up.
They do fit good. They feel good.
Yeah, I like these.
Put these things to use.
You can check them out at www.cosmosusa.com with a 3-year, 100% warranty. With no hydrants in this rural area, and as remote as it is, fire conditions like this will really test any department.
First got on the
machine. We had heavy fires showing from side Bravo. Looks like it started in the garage.
The firefighters have multiple lines charged, but are having issues with water pressure.
Can you just tell me what's going on with the water supply? Actually, we just don't have any water at this time. I guess we're waiting for the tankers to fill back up.
With the fire burning strong within the main structure and multiple fires burning near propane tanks, they need to get the water issues sorted out. The last thing they need is a propane tank exploding in this remote location. As they wait on water, several firefighters work tirelessly to remove the siding and walls of the structure to ventilate the attic. The water arrives just in time to cool down the metal propane tank.
I think initially, when we first got there, they were still setting up the water supply. They were doing the tanker shuttles. Not all the tankers were there. I think they had 4 or 5 tankers on the assignment. And like you said, there were very narrow roads, fire apparatus parked on the side of the roads. And we had to keep that lane open to make sure we could keep getting that water supply there and that we can keep getting that water to the main engine 824 so they can pump those lines. When I first got there were 3 lines in operations. And they had some difficulty getting some pressure because I think they were getting some volume issues with the water supply in the initial once we first got there.
Oh, that's what we've been doing the whole time. It's hard because everything all that time. Right. Knee walls. Yeah, it's all laying down on. See what you can get up one day. Come and see. Okay. Yeah. All right.
That would be probably our safest bet.
Outside Bravo, we're going to have to cycle those crews with their phone line to make sure.
We follow Officer Geron as he checks on the well-being of the other members battling the inferno, as consistent water is still a factor.
You guys are not going to operate in this area. See this above you? You need to back out. If you have to hit it from back there, I want you out of the collapse zone, okay? Still back up a little bit, do the best you can, okay?
I can't get any water inside the door from right here. All I'm doing is hitting the floor.
You have to get it from the back, okay? As long as you're out of the collapse zone.
Yeah.
We have I'm driving at 1503.
Yeah, after we get out of this outside walkout, it's not going to get any motorcycle.
PIO Live, Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Today, I'm joined by Pete Parringer, who is the spokesperson, Public Information Officer for neighboring Montgomery County.
Keep your eyes on the live training broadcast schedule on our homepage to know who, where, and when. It's all happening on the Battalion TV network. With zero hydrants and with consistent water supply being an issue, we look to the parameter of the fire grounds to see what tactical operations are necessary to keep water flowing.
It takes a little bit to orchestrate it when you first start to set up the operation, because if you don't get it right the first time, you're going to screw the pooch. So we try to get the dump tank set up, get a circular route for the tankers, for the fill site to the dump site, so they're not crossing paths. We try to get the dump tanks set up beside each other, so we've got 2 dump tanks to fill up, and then we'll take the dump site pumper and we'll flow the fire ground down to the 4-inch. You can do double, you can do triple. Depending on how you set them up, you can have 2 tankers dumping at the same time. If you see, Waldorf has their jet siphon on the supply hose where they can transfer from one to the other. We got another tanker coming in.
With tankers now shuttling like clockwork, we check back in at the fire grounds. All 3 lines are working hard to put out the blaze. The inferno is burning strong in the attic and really rocking in the basement.
Eventually we'll fill the basement up with water and put it out. Hey, 11 trucks. Right there, let them take it on and just stand fast if they need you to move down. Stand fast, got me? What's that 32 in there? They're fresh.
Hey, John, they want 11 wants to run it, man.
That?
11 wants to run it. Let them run it.
They got enough air. They got air.
He's just going to go flow real quick on the base so we can knock it down.
It wasn't too much, it was getting through you. You can go down there without it.
To help prevent structural collapse, firefighters flow water into the basement safely from just outside the door.
Can you see anything?
Copy, man. Yeah, there's any 14 trucks down the line in the basement.
SVI Trucks is a 4th-generation, family-owned, Colorado-based company that specializes in building custom emergency vehicles and has for over 50 years. SVI Trucks has produced over 1,000 emergency service vehicles that are saving lives every day all over the world. SVI Trucks has gained a rock-solid reputation for innovative designs and superior quality. To find out more, go to www.svitrucks.com.
The building construction of this particular house was challenging at most. They had interior knee walls on the 2nd floor, which has restricted access for us to be able to get those hidden spots of fire and smoke, especially when we can't go interior because of the interior structure of the roof. There's also, on the back side, we had multiple areas of potential collapse, which also blocked the only exterior basement exit entrance that we knew of. There might have been there was an interior basement entrance on the other side, but because of the fire conditions and the instability of the roof, we could not send firefighters interior to get into that basement. So what ended up happening, it looked like the parts of the floor had burned through and started igniting the basement. So we were having a difficult time. The entrance door to the basement was right next to that heating fuel oil, which is in that back corner, which it was already starting to bow the structural members. The building was dimensional lumber, so it gives the firefighters a kind of a false sense of security that because it was made of dimensional lumber and it's going to take longer to start burning through those structural members, that they have a little bit more time to operate underneath something that looks like it's going to collapse. And that's kind of the scenario that I ran into multiple times. A lot of people started operating. They were looking at that fire. They knew they had to put to get that basement extinguished, the back side of it extinguished, but they were operating underneath the roof structure that was almost partially collapsing. And there was actually a moment when we lost the floor joist, and it almost appeared that the back side of the roof was going to collapse.
You guys got fire above your head. Get on the mount. You back somebody up. Lean into them like this. Good, open up. You feel like you're doing any work?
You know, the rural fires where you have in unhydrated areas are not your typical bread and butter fires, especially for urban firefighters. You know, we're used to dropping a hose line or supply hose and hydrant, setting up a relay, and having a copious supply of water. When you change our tactics and change our thinking, that we have limited water, so we now have to set our priorities to where that water is and what we're trying to protect. So sometimes, you know, when we're at a rural situation, it may look like the firefighters are letting the fire burn a building, but we're actually setting priorities for the life, what we can use that water for life safety, and also what we keep in reserve for an emergency, because we've lost some fire trucks that were, you know, if it gets too close or if that propane tank did levy, we needed to have a water supply to protect the engines and protect our people.
With all the crews of the department having the inferno contained, Brian's Road Tower comes in to finish the job. In the end, there was massive property loss due to the home's remote location. But thankfully, 0 lives were lost. The men and women of Prince George's County were able to get the job done, no matter how difficult the circumstances and no matter how remote the location.